Hey YouTube, it's Jay. So today, something I've been waiting for a while. Today we're going to be unboxing the Diamond pool ball polisher and cleaner. I have for years and years and years been doing all my pool ball cleaning by hand. Polishing them by hand, waxing them if they needed wax, just basically everything to do with cleaning the balls and keeping them up. I've been doing it by hand and I do a pretty good job. I mean, they look good for a long time. But then, you know, just with it, just like anything else, over time, they start to get a little bit on the ratty side. And so these are my 10-year-old Centennials. And you can see there's a huge difference between a clean, polished ball and a ball that's been manually maintained for years. Now, could I get those to the same level of cleanliness that I have my other ones? Of course I could. And I could do that by polishing them by hand. Put polish on there, you rub it in, you let it dry, you buff it, and that works. However, it takes a lot of time. It's very manually intensive. And so before every time I play, which means every single day, I wipe down the table and I clean the balls. Now I don't always polish them, but I do always clean them with a wet rag, sometimes some soapy water, and then I buff them with a microfiber. Well, and I don't mind doing it. It's kind of zen to sit there and clean them and what have you. And by the way, there's 1,000,001 double entendres here. I could talk about cleaning my balls and all kinds of stuff like that. I'm just not going to go there. Let your imagination go wild. The thing about it is, it's very time intensive. So wiping down the table takes about 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. It takes about 5 minutes. To clean the balls, individually wipe down each of the 16 balls and buff them and all that and get them ready to play, that's probably about 15 minutes a day. And then once or twice a month, I actually polish them and I pull out a buffer and I polish them. And that takes about an hour. Okay, well, all that time adds up. And I would rather spend an hour playing pool than an hour polishing the balls. So I started looking for a solution to do this. And obviously there are do-it-yourself versions out there. But for my purposes, my whole purpose in doing this is to cut down on the time that I'm spending maintaining things so that I can have more time using them. Now, I went out looking and I found like a 1 ball at a time polisher. It's really designed just for the cue ball. 1 ball at a time polisher for, I think it was 80 bucks. And then the next thing up was an 8-ball polisher. It would polish 8 balls at a time. It was kind of white plastic, kind of looked like an egg-shaped thing. And yeah, it was 500 bucks. And I was looking for other solutions, and it turns out that for the same $500, I can buy an 8-ball polisher from, they call it a single platter polisher, from Diamond Billiards. The people that make the diamond tables, well, this is a Brunswick, but the diamond tables that are used in tournaments. Fantastic high quality company, very well renowned, always high quality. And it was the same $500 for the same thing. But here's the thing, they also have a 2-platter polisher, and it's a couple $100 more. It's $700 plus, you know, shipping and that. And it's heavy, it's 77 pounds, so the shipping was almost $150. But on day-to-day use, I should be able to do 2 minutes. So basically I put the balls in it while I'm wiping down the table, and by the time I'm done wiping the table, the balls are ready to play too. 5 minutes versus 20 minutes. Over a week, You know, that's two hours and 20 minutes that I get back that I could be using to do other things, including practice. So, to me, it's a worthwhile investment. So today, we're going to unbox this. We're going to assemble it. We're going to test it out. Like I said, I've got my old Centennials, and you can see these things are pretty nasty. The WPA rule is that you can use water and alcohol, and we'll be using a 50-50 mixture of each. So I've got 70% isopropyl alcohol, which is rubbing alcohol, 70% alcohol, and we'll be doing a 50-50 mix of that and spraying balls. Now, the WPA does not allow you to polish or wax the balls. If the balls need to be polished, like my Centennials do, you can polish them to take all the spots and stuff off and make them look newer, but you have to then use alcohol to strip them so that there is no remaining polish on the ball. And the reason for that is that the polish gets into the table. It gets into your cloth. And when it gets into the cloth, it makes the balls act funny. You start to lose friction, they start to spin more, and like you'll do a draw shot and it'll sit there and spin for a second and then it'll come back 2 inches. So to maintain the integrity of the shooting, they do not allow wax or polish on the balls that are being used in the tournament. So we're going to do all of this just exactly like they would do it for a tournament. But to start with, let's get to unboxing. There is a video, I'll link to it on Diamond's website, about how to use this, how to take care of it. This is the double platter version, so it will do it'll do 16 balls. Now you have to do 16. You have to do either 8 or 16. You cannot do like 5 balls at one time because of the way that the sprockets are manufactured. All right, so here we go. I'm excited because this is such a time-saving invention. And like I said, I mean, there are do-it-yourself versions of this that you can do for a lot less than $500 or $700. But they're certainly not to the quality level of this. So these are the sprockets. These are where the balls are going to go. The balls fit into these little areas here within the thing. So here's the sprockets. We have 2 of those because we have a double platter system. Matter of fact, why don't I bring this camera just a little bit closer. Let's get right up here and look down into that box. So, we have instructions. We have is that actually the polisher? It is. Like I said, this thing is, so the polisher itself I think is 72 pounds and the shipping weight was 77 pounds. Let's see. How do we get this out of the box? It's got flat sides. Okay, well, we're just going to cut a hole in the box. Seems like the way to go about this. Making sure, of course, that we don't push so far into it that we cut our polisher. So I can tell you that looks pretty good right there, by the way. The top of that is definitely looking like a high quality piece of, furniture quality equipment. Oh, that is pretty. We're gonna get this out of here so you can see it. All right, so got a little foam strap there. We have another foam strap. Okay, so this foam strap go down. Okay, the whole thing is bolted together using hex bolts. All right. By the way, I'm going to be putting this right here because it'll be out of the way of play. It's low enough that my cue will be over the top of it, so it won't interfere with play at all. Go ahead and cut this corner too. Cutting corners, yes, that's what I want to do. All right, let's get this box out of the way. Has the Diamond logo prominently displayed, which is what I would expect. You can see there, that's the official Diamond logo. It came from Diamond. It's a good looking piece of equipment. One of the platters is lower than the other. That means there's probably one motor and two belts in here. Yeah, plugs in. By the way, they manufacture these. So the plug came from underneath it. They manufacture these when you order them. So this one was literally custom built for me. All right. So they say that before you actually put balls in it, what you should do is there's a timer on this side over here. All right, so you can see on this side over here, there is a timer, which means you don't have to sit here and babysit this. You can literally, at the end of your session, if you wanted to, throw your balls in there and let it run. Okay, so there's two sides to the sprocket, one with the brown, just regular, like the inside of furniture laminate, and then there's the black goes up. Now, before we actually spin these, we're going to burn this in, but I want to show you how this thing goes together. Basically, the balls hold the sprockets in place. So you drop the balls in. And literally, the balls are the things that make the sprockets stay in place so they don't spin out. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull these out of here and we're going to go ahead and let that spin. I think the instructions, I'll go double check, but I think they said let it spin for about 10 minutes to burn the motor in before you use it. 1 hour of run time for a break-in period. Okay, so 1 hour of time for the break-in period, so we're just going to let this thing run for an hour and then we'll come back. All right, so we've let it run for an hour. So now we're going to put the sprockets in and we're going to do the Aramith Tournament Pro balls. These are my normal. This is my normal shooting set, and you can see these are the ones that you've seen me on video with recently. They're in really good shape. They're pretty new. I bought them in October, so they're about 3 months old. I've been maintaining them by hand. They've been wiped down regularly. There's really nothing wrong with them. We're going to do those first. Now, it's 16 balls, so it's all 15 plus the cue ball. All right. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put these in here. Now, like I said, you must fill all the slots. So if you've got one side, if you're only doing 8, then you can just do the one side and just do 8, or you can do all 16. Those are the only two options. You cannot do partials because the sprockets sit in here loose, so they move around. And it's the balls that actually hold them in place. Now, during the initial usage, the instructions say to hold the sprockets down lightly. So I was looking at the instructions online, and For just regular care, which is what these would be, it is 2 minutes is what they say to set it to. They say that's all you should need, but that you can do up to 10 minutes. So let's turn this thing on. Let's get them going. The instructions do say that you can apply the cleaner while they're moving. So this is half alcohol, half water. Now when you do polish, the video says do not apply polish to every ball. It says to apply the polish to the balls at the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock position. You just put a dot on each one and it will deal with it. Okay, so in a minute when I do the Centennials, which are in horrible shape, we will put 1 drop of polish, and I'm going to use the, let's see, which one is this? This is the Brunswick. Nope, we're not using that. It's almost gone. Where is the? We're going to use the actual Aramith billiard ball cleaner to do the Centennials. And we're going to do that. We're going to do the 1 drop at 12 o'clock, 1 drop at 6 o'clock, and see how it works. One of the things they caution you about on the Diamond video is, and I got some on the wood, so I'm going to wipe that off. By the way, this is solid oak. This is not veneers, that's actual oak, which makes this truly a furniture quality piece of equipment. In the video, what they say is one of the things that people do wrong fairly often is that they put a drop on every ball, and then what happens is it soaks into the carpet, and when it does, well, the carpet in there will get this soaked up into it, and then it ruins the carpet, and you have to replace the carpets. Now the good news is the carpets are not that expensive, and you can buy just the side pieces or the sprockets, or you can buy the bands that go around the motor. About the only thing in here that they don't have as a replacement part is the motor itself. I'm not going to take this apart to go find out what motor it is. It does say it's a 1/3 of a horsepower motor, which makes it similar to a ceiling fan motor. And this piece of equipment comes with a 1-year warranty. Okay, so there we are, we're done. And I'm looking at these, and I mean, they came out in great shape. The only complaint I would have is on the cue ball. There's some spots still on the cue ball. Let me pull these over on the table and we'll look at them. All right, so there are the balls. You can see they came out really good. Very nice shine, very nice luster on them. They'd be shinier if I used polish on them, but again, you have to strip the polish if you do that. Now we are going to do that on this next set. So these, which I'm going to bring over and show you up close. Let me zoom in here. You can see these things are pretty nasty. See, the 4 and the 12 really show it. There's dots and chalk and scars and everything else on these. So these are 10 years old, and I played with them. I would say I played about 365 days, 1 year's worth of actual play time with those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those and I'm going to move the camera over to the polisher again. So watching the video, what the guy said, and I'm shaking up the polish. What he said was put 1 drop here and 1 drop there. 1 drop there and 1 drop there. And then we're going to run these for about 10 minutes. All right, so they've run for about 10 minutes now. Let's take a look at what they look like. I'm going to get some light over here so we can see it. So you can see there's still some spots where we've still got some bruises. but they're definitely shined and ready to play. The biggest question that I have is if we can get these spots out, because that's kind of a big part of why we went with a high-end cleaner. Let's send them for another run. Now I don't have, there's two types of things. There's cleaners and then there's polishing cleaners. And then there's revitalizers. I don't have any revitalizer. But, yeah, so we're gonna put a little bit more of the cleaner on there because it didn't really clean. So we're gonna target the balls that have, and this seems a little watery to me. So we're gonna target the balls that have big bruises on them. We're not gonna put a lot on, but we are gonna do a little bit more than they suggest, just because I very much want to see this thing take those out. So, okay, so that's probably too much polish on those, but we're going to give it a shot. Because it definitely did not take off the bruises that were there that we were concerned about. Good in there. By the way, these things look really cool while they're spinning. Not that I care about how cool they look, but if you look at them, you can actually see that the balls are turning. They're forming patterns in there. I don't know if the camera's catching this, but you've got kind of almost like a 6-pointed star thing going on, or an 8-pointed star thing going on in each one. And you can actually see the balls spinning in there. So, so they're definitely getting the whole ball. We're just gonna let this run for another 10 minutes. All right, so let's see how these look after we've run them for about 10 minutes. We put a little bit more polish on them. Oh, that looks so much better. Okay, so I'm going to move the 4 and the 12. Remember, we looked at those close up beforehand. I'm going to move those to the table. I'm going to move that cue ball to the table. You can see here, I mean, these guys look really, really, really good. Shining a flashlight on them so you get a little bit better light. They look really good. Okay, so it definitely does its job. All right, so what I'm going to do next, before I do anything else, these have been polished and we're not allowed to have polish on them. So we're going to run them for about 2 minutes with the alcohol solution. I think that for purposes of doing the alcohol, it's better to just do it while they're moving so that you get kind of everything sprayed. We're going to run those just for a couple of minutes, just to take any remaining polish off. Okay, so we finished spinning the Centennials for 3 minutes with the alcohol solution. Now I want to show you something. Let me grab the flashlight. So I don't know how well you can see it, but if you can see the 9-ball, you see how bright and shiny the little reflection of the light is here? And here on the red one, it's really fuzzy. Well, that's actually residue from the polish. If I take that 3-ball and I just rub my thumb across it to take the polish off of the surface of the ball, you'll see that now we get a nice shiny. It's a little fuzzy because, you know, my fingers they do have oils on them. But you can see how much brighter that is now, which means, well, so first of all, that's why you have to use alcohol. That's why you have to use alcohol to clean the balls after you polish them, is to take that residue off. So we're going to spin these again, and we're going to put some extra alcohol on any of these that look like they might be a little fuzzy like that. Like the 3-ball, the 8-ball, maybe the 13. That 1-ball kind of looks pretty nasty. That probably needs to be polished again, and we'll get it in a minute because we're going to do these cue balls. Okay, so a little bit more alcohol on them. And let's spin them again. Now this is not, let me be clear about this, this is not the fault of the polisher. This is because, remember, I only spun them with alcohol for 3 minutes. You should spin them probably 10 minutes. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's do 10 minutes. Let's hit them with a little bit of extra spray. Not a lot, just a little, just enough to get them to maybe knock that leftover polish off. Okay, so we're going to run these for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to pull a few of them out that look really good. We're going to put our cue balls in, And when we put the cue balls in, we're going to repolish. So maybe we'll get a little bit more of the blue dots and things like that off of it. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes to put more polish on. Again, okay, so we still haven't completely taken the haze off, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Again, this is not the fault of the polisher. This is probably just due to the age of the balls and the specific the polish that I'm using is not a revitalizer, it's just a polish. So what I'm going to do now is, and by the way, you'll notice that it's the balls from 1 through 9 that are, you know, the fuzzy ones, and that's because, of course, 9-ball players, so they get more play than the others. So like my 11 is almost brand new looking. So this polisher did a great job of those. So now what I'm going to do is I've got 4 cue balls all together. Let me get them all side by side so you can see what they look like before. There are the 4 cue balls. This dark red is the measle cue ball that I've been using, that you've been watching me play. This is the Aramith Tournament Pro. Came with the Tournament Pro set that you see me playing. This is the blue dot, that's a Centennial, or the blue circle is a Centennial that goes with this set that has the points in this side. And then the lighter red dot measle cue ball is my old one. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all 4 of these in the polisher. So now we have all 4 of those in the polisher. You saw what the before looked like. I'm going to actually polish them and then hit them with alcohol to clean them off. So this is just a couple minutes into this and I noticed something. You see how this is kind of stuttering a little bit? This is what they meant by pressing down. If I press down, they go smoothly around, and that's going to allow them to establish a track. And you can see they're going to get much better polish with me pushing down slightly on this. And the same thing's happening over here again. So I'm going to push down on these for a minute and let them establish their tracks. Okay, so I'll be back. All right, so we still have the cue balls in there and they're still going around. So I just sprayed them a little bit of alcohol to take any polish residue off. Now on these, because I did put a pretty good amount of polish on them, I am probably going to have to wipe them down. I don't care, that's fine. Again, not the fault of the polisher. This is a really, really old set of balls. The only one in there that's there are only 2 that are relatively new, and that's the black dot Aramith cue ball and the new measle cue ball, which was the one with the darker red. Now I am concerned about one thing. If you listen, you'll hear it tapping. And I'm kind of concerned that that's the balls hitting the wood. So I'm definitely going to have to investigate and find out what that's all about. All right, so they finished up, and here we go. Let's take these out and take a look at them after they've been cleaned. This is all of them. We're done cleaning them now. Good. I got to tell you, they look good. There's still a little bit of fuzziness on the 4-ball. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, I'm going to take this 4-ball, and I'm just going to really quickly, I'm going to get a damp rag, and I'm going to wipe it off, because I'll bet you that's just residue because I used so much of the polish. I'm just going to wipe off this 4-ball real quick, and then I'm going to hit it with a microfiber cloth. So here's a microfiber cloth, and let's just get any of that polish that was remaining on it off and see what it looks like. So yeah, that's all it was. It was just that I used maybe a little bit too much polish on these. Yeah, see. In fact, you can see it there on that 8-ball I just set down. You can see a patch of polish right here. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's like a patch right here of polish. So let me wipe these off real quick. So I wouldn't expect it to be perfect on these 10-year-old balls. I would expect it to help me get them back to a lustrous condition, but I wouldn't expect it to be complete. And once you've gotten them back to that good condition, then it's just a matter of keeping them there. And it certainly did a good enough job of that with just the alcohol and the water. Yeah, see, patch is gone. So there's the 4 cue balls. They look pristine, all 4 of them. This is the oldest one, and it looks brand new. This one is actually the same age as that one, and it looks brand new. All those blue spots that were on it are gone. All the scars, all the friction marks, they're all gone. Only thing we did on this is water and alcohol, and I see no friction marks. I see no, I see nothing that I would be concerned about on those balls. So let me tell you what, this thing is very sturdy. Like I said, it's 70 pounds. It's solid oak. It's not veneers or fascias. It's solid oak. Definitely furniture quality. I would not be concerned about standing on that if I had to stand on it for some reason. Very well made. Did the job, did a quality job. I'm definitely happy with it. And given how much I'm on the table, it's going to save me 2 hours a week and another about another half hour every 2 weeks. So call it 10 hours a month. That's 120 hours of extra practice I will get a month because I'm not doing them by hand. If I had to build this, if I was going to build this from parts, I imagine I could probably do it for somewhere between $150 and $200 in parts and save myself some money. But let me tell you what, this thing's quality. This top, I don't know if you can see it, but there are no seams. This top, from here to here and all the way around, this is one piece of wood. That's one piece of wood. All right, so anyhow, that is my review of the Diamond Billiard Products Inc. Pool ball polisher and cleaner. Absolutely worth the money for somebody like me that plays a lot and would lose a lot of time keeping their equipment up. Maintenance of your equipment is obviously very, very important, and keeping the balls clean is a big part of that. They play differently when they're clean. So that's a definite recommend. At some point I might go ahead and get the other polisher just for a review, but probably not. Unless they give me one to review, yeah, probably not. So have a great day. If you like these reviews, hit like, hit subscribe, ding the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.